Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Motorsport Mosh Pit Podcast. So today we have our trio of Dan Feven and myself, and yes, while there definitely has been a bit of a gap between the past few episodes, we still have more episodes of the Motorsport Mosh Pit Podcast in V8 Supercar rounds. So Motorsport Mosh Pit 1, V8 Supercar 0. So we can brag about that, I guess.
Of course.
That was 10 out of 10.
Yeah, fresh shaded Supercar is not even 30 seconds in.
So I guess first things first, maybe we start off with Dan. You've been quite busy with AE4, spending a fair bit of time at the bend, and I heard you spun an Excel.
Yeah. So I spun once, all right? Compared to everyone else who spun numerous times, I spun once with the handbrake on. Don't know where Mac has gone. Has he disappeared? Is he still here? No, there's Feven that's disappeared.
Yeah.
Never mind. That's a good start. Baby, come back. You might...
This episode is brought to you by Optus.
Legendary pieces of shit.
You want someone that lets you down? Get Optus.
Exactly. He's back.
There is going to be a very strongly worded email. There's going to be a very strongly worded email tomorrow to Optus, and it starts off, I hope this email finds you before I do.
I think it will send, mate.
No. I got all I heard was you spun an Excel, and then I was just like cast aside. Like I saw how it was.
Yeah, you got booted. Yeah, no, I spun an XL because some idiot, me, left the handbrake on, and lap one, it didn't like that. So, which is fair enough. The rest of the day, I didn't run a handbrake, but it was so sick. It was a really, really cool, surreal experience to be able to say that I've driven a race car at speed, at a racetrack, again, like with other people as well. It's really, really cool. AU4, really cool as well. A very fantastic weekend at the bend. Of course, I was doing double duties with social media and also doing my best Mark Marquez impression this weekend as the pit lane reporter for KO Sports. So that was cool. I don't know if you boys saw the action at all, but it was probably one of the best racing we've seen from them this year.
Yeah. I tuned in for a little bit of it, and it's quite refreshing to actually see like a single-seater series in Australia that's like actually competitive. Like we probably haven't seen this. I've personally never seen it here since I've moved here to Australia, but it's refreshing to see because I think it's the one thing in Australian motorsport that's lacking. And yeah, it's quite an awesome little battle, and kind of reminded me a lot of obviously the Formula, whatever they call it now, Toyota Racing Series, the Formula Regional Oceanic Castrol Toyota, whoever came up with that
ridiculously
name.
long.
Yeah, I don't even know if that went through PR or marketing, but anyway, I'm getting off topic.
I don't know.
No, I just got bragging aside.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pretty much. No, it's a great category. We've had it's hard to when they're out there on track, it's hard to believe that they're only 14, 15, 16 years old. Those kids are fast and they're fantastic to be around with. They're so much fun, and they do remind me on occasion that they are kids, the way they act. But when they're out on track, it's just amazing to watch. And it's good to see because, obviously that's Australia's future stars. Last year's champions racing in Italy, and he won in the F4 Italian series. So it has potential. Young Jensen, who won this weekend, his goal is to one day go to supercars, and I highly think that will happen. And it's going to be really cool.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to watch because you see them in the cars and you're muscling these cars around and stuff. And then after the race, it's like, yeah, it was a really good race. It was really, really good. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, exactly.
You kind of forget the fact they're kids because like even some of the way they're driving, it's pretty mature because you see some of those junior categories and, they get a bit adventurous in some of their maneuvers and things like that. But yeah, I was quite pleasantly surprised.
Well, Marco Manson, the Kiwi talent who's now second in the championship, who's fighting for that championship win. He has signed is going to do a test day with Roden Motorsport. Now, you guys might know Roden as, the F2 team, F3, so that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, sure, yeah, and they don't do anyone. Like, I think they had a deal with Liam Lawson previously and a bunch of other drivers as well. Like, it was a Sharp and what's his name?
Yeah. Lewis Sharp
or something. Yeah, Lewis Sharp, that's the one, yeah. So that they're quite decent names, so that's quite big. I didn't realise.
Feven, how's your weekend, mate?
My weekend just gone. No, it was actually my birthday weekend, so I actually didn't really keep up too much of it with motorsport apart from the NASCAR and F1 races. But yeah, NASCAR was cool. Good to see SVG actually getting a lot better at ovals. He was so close to that stage win, man. Like, I was actually gutted when that happened. And then one of my least favorite drivers won the race. Go to hell, Joey. But no, it's good to see I'm sure you'll both agree with me that over win for SVG is coming. Like the trajectory he's on, like we all know he's a master on the road courses, but when it comes to ovals, just to see him get better and better and better, it's really encouraging to watch. And then, what did you guys think of Formula One over the weekend? I'll be honest, I slightly cried at Kimi's pole lap when I saw him downshifting, I think, through Blanchimont at the last quarter of the lap just to go faster. I'm like, oh, God, F1, what have you become? Like, there's...
That was definitely one of the pole laps of all time.
Oh, it was good.
5 seconds slower than last year's pole lap. Like, are you kidding me? Like,
I genuinely could have forgiven that, but the fact that they're downshifting through some of the fastest corners in world motorsport, like, it just it hurts me.
What about lap 1 when Max overtakes Kimi through O'Reilly and Radion? Like, gutsy as heck move. And under the old cars, he was just going to drive off into the distance. And then he said he looks down at his dash and he's like, I run out of battery. And he says, look, it was like Charles just came through with star power like a Mario Kart and went, and just passed him like he was standing doing nothing. Like,
because what I found is the drivers have started to cotton onto how it all works with the systems and everything and how it deploys and how it charges. So now, like, when they're going through the corners, they're going way slower to charge the battery as quickly as possible. So they just let people go past, and then on those long straights, they just have an extra 200 kilowatts to use. And I mean, like, it's just, I don't know. I just can't. I'm speechless.
It shouldn't even be a sentence, you know? It shouldn't even be a sentence. The fact that, gee, we're in the world's fastest car, fastest series, let's slow down so we can finish this lap. You know, it's just ridiculous. It's not Formula One. I say it time and time again, it's not Formula One.
It's not at the moment. And for me, like, I gave these new regs a chance, but the more the season goes on, I'm just like, I'm terrified to think what's it going to be like when they get to Baku or when they get to Monza? What the temple of speed? What the temple of battery management? Like,
see, Baku will be interesting because, Baku's going to be interesting. Yes, they have that long Sector 3 and just the beginning of, end of Sector 3 and Sector 1 is probably going to be terrible. But then you've got the slow sections, which is, the sweepers and heading onto the back straight on the main straight, and then turn 1, turn 2. I'm pretty sure that's it. Anyway, look, what I'm trying to say is that's going to be boring as anything. It's going to be so slow. But in with Sector 2 during the castle section, if anything, they'll be able to recharge the battery then because it's so slow. It's going to be interesting. And because Feven's frozen, he looks very concerned. Which is relatable, but it's going to be interesting. Monza is going to be interesting as well.
I'll take a photo of that.
Yeah, me too. Hang on.
That's another meme, I guess, for anyone that's watching this. I can't really see it, but yeah.
Well, there you go.
I could generally see that as a meme. Yeah, it's like
F1
Yeah, when someone says the new regulations are great.
Yeah,
I love super clipping. Said someone.
Yeah. Hang on. Wait. Say it again. Don't say it again. Oh, I lost it. Okay, say it again.
Say it again?
Let me know how much you love super clipping.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Come on. Do it. Do it for the content. Tell me how much you love super clipping.
I love super clipping. It is amazing. Everyone loves it.
Fuck did you say?
I'm probably just going to leave this in here. That's good content.
Yeah,
unless you're watching the audio version, but or you're listening.
Yeah, if you're watching the audio, just switch to YouTube or just picture someone's face just stuck frozen.
We might even put it up on our socials if we're brave enough. But I don't know. I think we're far away enough from Feven that he won't attack us.
Well, he has to be connected to attack us.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He's actually dead. I'm convinced he's.
Yeah, Optus. He's back again. There you go.
Yeah, the app just froze and crashed on me.
You were stuck on that for like a while.
Reconnecting again.
Oh, mate, did you see this? I'm gonna hold it in case you disconnect or something. That's what
must have dial-up up in Queensland. We've already got a meme out of it, so it's a very good start.
We have.
Yeah, might even forget about the milk memes. I don't know.
No, you can't forget them.
Yeah,
I rocked up, Talon. I rocked up Thursday test day with a 2-liter iced coffee, and because we couldn't check in our hotel room, we were. Oh, I've disconnected my camera by fiddling with it. It's all happening. Fuck. Yeah, because we couldn't check into the hotel room at the time, I was just chugging it from my car. It's like the 2-liter carton.
Living the milkman lifestyle.
Yep. Oh, he's back. Someone put a timer on.
This is almost as cruel as taking a burns victim to a fireworks show. Like, God. Yeah, well, last I heard was when we were talking about Baku, so this is going to be an interesting edit.
That's all we spoke
Yep.
about. Yeah, well, we're just saying how it's going to be interesting because you've got that very slow castle section of Baku, which could help charge the batteries. But by the time you get down the start-finish line, you're cooked anyway. So,
Especially into turn one.
Especially into turn one after that straight. Yeah, you're going to have no power coming into the back straight. It's going to be interesting.
But how's Monza going to go? That's going to be
I think it
very
might,
fast.
There's also very heavy braking zones at Monza, like quite a lot of them when you think about it, because there's, 3 main braking zones? Oh, nearly 4, I guess.
Yeah, but the run out of the last corner, they're going to be they're probably going to be out of battery by the time they cross the start-finish line.
Yeah,
the problem is there won't be enough slowdown when you go to Ascari after that little mini straight they have before heading into the other straight. By the time they get to the main finish line, it's going to be cooked.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that's pretty much, apart from the only other track I can think it's going to be a problem is maybe Coda with the back straight.
Yeah, maybe.
The back straight at Coda, that may be a bit of a problem, but I don't think it's going to be as bad of a problem at, Interlagos, or maybe the run into turn one, I'm not sure. Interlagos, I don't think it'll be that bad.
I mean, in fairness, it's such a small circuit as well. A lot of fast. Although nothing's going to be a bad.
I genuinely think that the next race in Hungary might arguably be the best suited for the new regulations. It's very tight, very compact.
Maybe.
Shorter, tighter tracks like that, I think they're going to mask it completely. I think Hungary will mask it.
Madrid will be interesting.
Madrid, oh God.
Yeah,
because I'm pretty sure that's... I've only done a couple laps and I don't like it.
Well, I mean, not even, let's look back to this. Let's look back to the start of the season. Not even Australia really mastered. In Australia,
it's a pretty high-speed circuit these days.
Yeah. So especially since they got rid of that chicane, had they had the old layout before the one they did in 2022, like the 2019 through to whenever, like late 90s, when it became a track. Yeah, if they still had that chicane section there, I don't think it would have been as bad. But the fact that they went and moved that section, but I don't know. But I did read something interesting like before this pod tonight. Have you seen the latest updates from Aston Martin?
Yeah, I saw that they were getting rid of it. Like they were finally upgrading because Alonso had enough. He was doing donuts or doing burnouts or skids and something like that.
Well, one report suggests that the car could be at least 2 seconds faster, which is still nowhere near what the rest are, but to shave 2 seconds a lap time.
It'll be like, exactly.
Yeah,
look, they're lucky to get pole in F4 at this point. The F4 cars are faster.
You want to see them up there because, like, when you look at the team they have, like, obviously Alonso, Adrian Newey, but then even everyone else behind them, like, it should be a hell of a lot better. But
it should be up here, except they're like way down there where you can't see it. But it's odd to see, like we've seen it so many other times in different motorsport categories, but just to see where they were a few years ago, like when they first became Aston Martin, they weren't great, and then 2022 car was pretty average, and then by come 2023 after Vettel's retirement, Alonso comes in, finishes 4th in the title standings, and then they've just been on this decline again. It's just like, how does that happen?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. They're literally gone back.
And it's crazy because they've spent a crap ton of money. Their new facilities have been massive.
I'm sorry.
Hundreds of millions of dollars spent, new wind tunnels, new factory deal with Honda.
Silverstone, it's insane.
Yeah, it's like, I think it was close to something like $150 million, including the wind tunnel or something like that, which is a ridiculous amount of money.
I saw an aerial shot of the facility at Silverstone, and it's massive.
Yeah, they don't.
And you're just like, how on earth? Yeah, it's like, how on earth did they just get it? How have they gotten the car so wrong? So
you can have all the tools, fanciest tools in the world, doesn't mean you're going to be on top.
Well, in fairness, they have chosen a Honda engine.
Well, it worked all right for Red Bull.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but what is it with Alonso, man? Like, why is he always in the right place, wrong time? That just sums up his entire career outside of Renault.
Yeah, he's kind of just cursed, isn't he? Like, I don't know, did he like run over a cat or something, or like did some like I don't know, did like Schumacher get like a witch doctor on him, like from 2007 onwards or something? Like,
I reckon Vettel may have put a curse on him after he made those comments about him in the early 2010s, saying he's not that good.
Maybe it was Hamilton.
Maybe it was Ron Dennis.
It all kind of works.
Enough of him. Yeah, maybe Ron Dennis had enough of him in 2007, just has like a voodoo doll of him after letting Lewis win the title and just puts pins in it every day. Like,
can't disprove that.
Yeah. But speaking of the Belgian Grand Prix, we're going to have to talk about George Russell. His championship fight now, dead or still a chance? I reckon they're gone.
I always thought they were gone anyway. You know, after the third round with Kimi's just... Look, you just got to compare him and Kimi. Yes, George had some battery issues here and there or any car-related issues throughout the season, but from a performance, Kimi has just been on top. You know, I reckon it's not George's year, and it never will be George's year, and certainly this year is not going to be his year. So I reckon the chances are gone. It's going to be a Kimi versus Hamilton fight for at least a while.
I don't think Hamilton's too far back.
I reckon he's too far back too, but if anyone's going to fight, it'll probably be him.
Yeah, after Spain, I thought, okay, Lewis has finally got his mojo back, and then George closed up the gap, and I thought, okay, well, because Kimi was going for a bad run at the time too, but he's just responded with that victory in Spa. Like, he's just like, no, I've got this thing. So I'd like to see him win it, and I'd like to see him become... Hey?
Pretty sure that was his first win in Europe, Kimi.
Really?
Yeah, it might
could
be.
be wrong.
That makes sense, yeah.
Pretty sure it is. Could be wrong, but there you go.
I figured it'd take something catastrophic now for Kimi to lose this title.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, look, it is still theoretically possible, but I think with the way that Kimi's going, he's got a bit of a swagger in his step. George just doesn't seem to have that edge he had at the start of the year at the moment, but it comes across as, rather than I'm going to fight back, it's like, this thing's happening again, and blah, 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 blah. So that's not
He's
a good
always
look.
whinging, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, I actually reckon
it.
Yeah, well, that's probably fair. But it's refreshing to see Hamilton up there. I kind of find myself partially wanting him to do well. It's kind of a weird vibe. Like, I for a long time when he was at Mercedes, I think I was kind of like, oh, piss off, you know. But now I'm like, I actually kind of want to see him win the championship just because, like,
well,
I think
it's because
even
also,
though that would cause a civil
like a dream
war
story.
on socials.
Yeah. It's a dream story, you know, Ferrari, like him joining Ferrari and winning it. You know, I think everyone would love to see Ferrari up there. It's been a while since we've seen them up there. But, I mean, if they stop running over their own mechanics, I reckon they might be in for a chance. Who knows?
Also, remember, we're only halfway through the championship. So, like...
Yeah, it was only
we've seen
10. We still got a long way to go.
Yeah, like the momentum has changed numerous times over the past, 11 rounds or 10 rounds or whatever it is. So, anything's possible. But, yeah, I think right now, Kimi's just... He just looks confident, but like in a very like chilled manner. And when you have people in that kind of state of mind driving, it's bloody dangerous, especially if they're in a good car.
For sure, definitely.
Yeah,
if you got the right mindset, you can go pretty far.
Definitely. Yeah, I think with Hamilton though, like when he got that win it was in Spain that he won, wasn't it? Here we go. Yeah, it was in Spain that he won that race, wasn't it? Yeah. Like I've always thought that in these later years of his career, for God's sake, it's ridiculous, eh?
Oh, that's fine.
I always thought that like in the later years of Lewis's career, he was still capable. Dude, if I'd taken screenshots of like how you looked frozen, man, you looked like an absolute serial killer, eh? Like it was like move over Ivan Milat, like you're the like next thing, like
give me a milk now.
And mug shots. We just need one of Macca.
I just look like a homeless man in general, so.
That's what Toasty Trev was born. Yeah, with Lewis, like I was saying, I think he's shown that he's still capable of winning the races. In a lot of ways, he reminds me of Craig Lowndes in the later stages of his career. Like, usually top 10, maybe top 5, and would snag a win here and there, but just that the actual fight was gone. That's how I think Lewis is now in the later stages of his career. You got to remember how old he is, too. I think he's the second oldest driver on the grid now, behind Fernando.
Is he 40 or 30?
No, Lewis is in his 40s. Yeah, Alonso's mid-40s.
It's like 3,000 years old, you know? I'm pretty sure he was born
we're talking about this incarnation.
Like, I honestly think that Alonso was 24. There for the dawn of creation. Like,
on the third day, God created the earth, and Alonso appeared in a Renault.
Yeah, Alonso on the seventh day, Alonso appeared. Like,
no, you make a good comparison. That's a really good. Like, I didn't really think of that. Like, but when you put it into perspective, it really is very similar to Craig Lowndes in his later
or
year
even
career.
Well, let's take another example. Let's take I don't know, Peter Brock. Look at the later stages of his career. Like in a factory team, so similar to like Lewis, like still in a really high team at his age, and was still able to put in some really good drives and get a few results here and there, but just the consistency's not there anymore. And that's what I think is if you look at Lewis's results in the last couple of years compared to what he was like in the 2010s and early 2020s. I mean, yeah, obviously Mercedes had dropped the ball and then Ferrari wasn't great that year. I mean, the car does have a lot to do with it, but still there was a lack of consistency, what we hadn't seen in Lewis's career at any stage. So, but it happens to all of them.
I think the biggest thing for Lewis will be probably the fact there's not like a clear number one and number two at Ferrari. You know, you've got Charles, and on his day, Charles one of the fastest drivers out there. But yeah, I think unless they clearly define and go like, Lewis, you're number one for now, Charles, you're number two, I think that's going to be an issue. Because, I mean, at Mercedes, you kind of are starting to see that clear divide. And that does make things a lot easier in the championship battle when you have both drivers in there. And that's probably something that might be a bit of a risk going forward. But yeah, they need to be more consistent at the end of the day.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say the last time there was a clear number one and number two at Ferrari was the Vettel and Raikkonen era.
Yeah, I would say so.
I would say that that Vettel was pretty much the number one in those years until Charles came along.
Yeah. No, I would
argue before that. Because I'd say at times they were almost like very similar in terms of pace.
Well, you think maybe Alonso Massa?
Yeah, or Alonso Massa, or probably even before that, like Raikkonen, Massa, even because Raikkonen was.
Oh no, I'd say no. Raikkonen and Massa, I'd say were pretty even because you got to remember Kimi won the title in 2007, but then Massa was in the fight in 2008.
Yeah, he still was in the fight.
But he was world champion. Yeah, he was world champion for 30 seconds until Timo Glock pulled over and let Lewis pass.
Yeah. Legal action pending, of course.
Yeah, legal action pending.
But I go. This hasn't been a clear number one and two, even potentially since the Schumacher days. Like that was a pretty clear number one and number two. Whereas I feel like everything else after that was up for debate. I guess because back then it was pretty clear. Like whether it's Barrichello or Massa, it was pretty obvious that Schumacher was kind of like numero uno. He was the big dog.
Yeah, and Ruben actually didn't mind that at all from the looks of it.
I mean, they literally swapped positions in a race.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, actually, I would somewhat argue and say that I think Alonso Massa was a clear number one, number two, because you got to remember, what was it? Gosh, what's the name of the track in Germany? Hockenheim, 2010. Fernando was faster than you.
Yeah, true.
The funny thing is too, with that incident in that year, everyone seems to forget that happened on more than one occasion. Australia, it happened as well in round 3, and from memory, Felipe never let him pass.
Probably got PTSD from 2008.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
So, no. I got to get all my points. Fuck off.
Yeah, I got to make up.
How this works.
Yeah, I know how this works. Like, I lost by 1 point. I need everything.
He's got a picture of Timo Glock on his steering wheel. It's like, never forget.
Wait a minute. No, hang on. I know why this is the case, you see. Because Crashgate happened, which is also part of the reason. That was 08, right? 08 or 09?
Yep.
09.
That was 08.
The Crashgate was 08.
Because that was the reason why Massa pretty much was in that position, because Alonso's team fucked it up for him.
Yeah, that's right. Because Ferrari had the fuel rig issue, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They did
Ferrari
Ferrari
things.
things.
The pit box and the fuel hose was still connected.
Yeah,
I remember now. But also too, you could argue that he lost that championship in Silverstone that year.
But the main thing is he lost it.
Yeah, I think it's just those like there's always those battles. You know, whenever a championship goes to that last race, there's always those incidents where someone could go, "Oh, this person could have finished better." I mean, Abu Dhabi 2021,
a good example.
There's plenty of times Hamilton probably could have not let people through, and he would have won the championship. But we don't really talk about that because, you know.
Someone the other day was, I can't remember where I was, it might have been in the group chat or it may have been somewhere else. No, it was between you. It was in the group chat, Macca. It was between you, myself, and one of the other guys, might have been Ryan or Craig. We were talking about 06 and how Rick Kelly won with only the one race win that year. And everyone goes on about how Rick only won that because he took Lowndes out in the final race. It's like, well, I argue that Craig shouldn't have been in that position had he not done what he did on the Gold Coast that year and for not what happened at Simmons Plain. Arguably, Craig cost himself a lot of points at the Gold Coast that year. I think one was a starting procedure and the other one, I think he got done for a penalty with nearly sending Jason Richards to the balconies at the Gold Coast through the chicane, the old turn 1 chicane. Yeah, because I know he got involved in a few incidents like that. But yeah, that's just another one. But then, and even the year before, everyone was saying like, oh, it was Greg Murphy who cost Marcus Ambrose the title at Bathurst. But I said, no, go look at Ambrose's results from after Bathurst before Phillip Island. He had a shocker. You could have easily bounced back from Bathurst and won that title before he went it to the US. But
and even before that, though, like he wasn't very clean.
Oh, he was still
even before that. Like he was probably as messy as
Yeah, he still had a few good results before that, before Bathurst, and then I think at Sandown he finished way down the order, a lap down. But the point I'm making is the fact that everyone always wants to pinpoint. There's always like one race or one incident that can win or lose you the title. It's like, no, it's what they say is true. You lose or win a championship over a whole season.
Yeah, exactly. We saw that last year, how McLaren slowly lost it over time and opened the door for Max to come up,
and lose by 2 points after being over 100 points back.
Exactly. Midway, he was like considered gone, so
that's what happened this year.
Very, very
I would laugh so hard if Red Bull come back after the break with just like hella upgrades and Max just obliterates everyone. Like,
please do, because I picked him at the start of the year.
Yeah. What is he like? He's like 100 and something points off now. Can you imagine if he just like, I know it's pretty unrealistic, but can you imagine if he just did like the Marlboro Ball comebacks again and actually pulls it off this time? Like,
he just has to come back mid-year and just change his number to 33 again.
Yeah, 3's curse, man.
Yeah, 3 should be banned.
Did you see on the weekend in the GT cars, his team car got crashed out again on the opening lap? Well, I was just like, that number 3, man, just get rid of it. Like, bad juju, just piss it off. Like,
there's only, in my opinion, in World Motorsport, there's only one person who should have number 3. Anyone else should just like leave it alone.
Yeah, I mean.
And arguably, he had some bad luck with it.
I didn't realize you're an Austin. I didn't realize you're an Austin Dillon fan.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
You would be the only one.
Yeah, you would be.
I was meeting another bloke, but anyway.
Sure. Nah. Do it for Dale. Do it for
Austin
Dale.
Dillon can fuck off. SVG all the way.
It could be worse. He could be Austin Hill, It's just...
Oh, don't get me started on that guy. Like,
yeah.
But no, like we said earlier, though, talking about NASCAR just now, like we said earlier, like how good's SVG?
He's getting better and better. Like
he's getting so good now.
Before, when are we going to see him win a race around in the ovals? And I think it's coming up. I reckon we could. Who knows? We might see it before the end of the year. I hope. But there will be plenty.
Yeah, I reckon this year's going to be the year.
Next year.
I really think if those trackhouse cars can qualify good, they seem to be really good race cars, but the qualifying is probably the thing that's making them struggle a bit. So, and you saw it in the last race, like he got qualified near the front and had a bloody good performance. And so if he can kind of keep in that top portion of qualifying, man, he's definitely looking. Yeah. I got to say though, one thing that was really refreshing because I was actually, after the whole Austin Hill chaos and all that bullshit, I was decided to watch some of the press conferences and I was like, the press conferences in the NASCAR are so much better than they are here in supercars. Like they actually ask questions that are decent. I was just kind of in awe. Whereas you come to Australia and it's just like, how do you feel about winning? And it's like, what kind of question is that? Like you won a fucking race,
And also too, I know that NASCAR drivers are going to be careful what they say too, but they're a lot more open and honest about how they feel about things. Like they can afford to be themselves a lot more.
Yeah.
They're not afraid of helping hate,
Yeah, whereas here in Australia, they're just so scared of upsetting their sponsors.
Well, yeah. Like NASCAR drivers, they actually welcome it and embrace it and so does NASCAR. They welcome it too because it just brings them, adds character to their drivers and stuff. So that's what supercars is slowly getting, but is still not there yet. Is the character and the story behind the series, like back in with Ambrose and Murph, Scafie, Ingle, all those days, So that's what definitely NASCAR is definitely on top of supercars in that case.
No, I did love Azekaz's interview with Thingy at Townsville. He just drops an F-bomb.
Was that Rihanna? Was it? I've got a suggestion, though, of how we could probably get supercars drivers more personalities out there. And it's going to be a bit of a throwback. Bring back V8 Superstars.
Yeah. Hell yeah. They've got
revive that.
So
revive that. Yeah, because how good a team
I had an idea the other day. I was like,
that was so good.
I genuinely reckon if you got a bunch of drivers on, mix them up so they're not in their own little corporate environments and teams and stuff, and have a crowd going, maybe give them a couple beers just to kind of loosen the PR filter, I guess, and just let them loose. I reckon it'd be a good way to kind of bring out the personalities in the sport. But I also think even just with the broadcast, or, we need people who ask those questions, or, to let them loose a bit. Because even in the press conferences, I don't think the journalists are asking those hard questions because it's like such a small community. You don't want to, I guess, provide that.
Yeah, you don't want to upset.
If you say something negative, they're like, I don't want to talk to you anymore, or the PR people will be wary and things like that. So there's a lot more to, I guess, be careful about. And I don't know, it's just like a weird thing. But I really think that I think supercars are slowly starting to get it, but I do think it's V8 Superstars or something along the lines of that, like a game show of some sort. I reckon that would be a good effort, but it needs to be done in a way that's a bit more modern and fresh somehow. So make it a bit more, internet friendly maybe, and not feel just like a supercars broadcast. It's got to be something a bit wacky, a bit left field, probably like more of a late night show. And I'm not sure if you guys had listened to one of the most recent Sleuth podcasts where they had Mark Marquez on board, and he was actually saying that's a good idea as well, but have it out in the regions rather than just in the city centres. I actually think that's a bloody good idea.
That was a good listen, actually, I must say, that Scafey interview. That was actually a good pod.
Yeah, I've always,
And
any interview with Scafey is always good.
He's actually, in my opinion, the best part of Motor Racing 360. I'm not sure if you guys have been watching any of those, but I think Scafe's found his element there. I think behind the desk, he's on form. Just everything else kind of just sucks.
Well, here's one suggestion. Bring back the E-Series. They've got the Gen 3 cars on iRacing.
Yeah.
Have it between rounds and have it, I don't know, have it broadcast on Facebook or YouTube or something. Just something for, like, wouldn't even have to be, like, absolutely serious. Like, if they want to go and crash each other off, so be it.
Yeah, there needs to be something like that. And I reckon E-Series could be good. Like, even if they, like, brought out, like, they have supercars drivers, but maybe, they like what they did in E-Series where they brought out F1 drivers and IndyCar drivers and NASCAR drivers. That could be a good way to do that as well. Like, just to kind of cross pollution to other platforms as well. God, you could even just like have like a bloody celebrity race, get like some AFL players in there and like, NRL and some, I know, legends of the V8 Supercars. Like, it'd be a good way to kind of cross-pollinate between different categories and keep the sport going, I guess, just between the races, because it'd be kind of funny to see, like, I don't know, some NRL player, how fast can they send it around Bathurst?
Yeah,
that'll be interesting.
Yeah, that'd be an insurance nightmare.
They can last 80 minutes, but they can't last.
I know a good sim place in Adelaide that you can go and do it.
Yeah.
I've heard some things about that place. Yeah.
But if they had Nathan Cleary in a supercar, he'd hit his chin first before he got anything else injured. Like,
do you reckon if they're in a race with the NRL guys, like there'd be a little bit of contact, and they'd be like, "Guys, no, we need to go up to the box."
Yeah, pretty much. Like, let's go to the bunker.
Red card, contact.
Yeah. But what you'd see, it's actually Craig Baird with the whistle and yellow cards and other garbage like that.
Well, the roles are undercover cop or something, undercover boss.
Yeah.
So, he hit the front of the car, that's a concussion. We need to take 2 to 3 weeks off.
Yeah.
I do agree with your point though, Macca. I think,
well,
I don't know.
There definitely needs to be more hype around supercars because, like, I know that they're doing the social media engagement, and we've spoken about this a bunch of times. The social media engagement before they go to certain tracks. I was watching a video today, I think, on their Instagram, highlights from Barbagallo from the last 12 or 13 years, and yeah, it's a good way to hype it up. It just seems like because there's such a big gap in between the rounds because of the nature of the calendar, like not much we can do about that. But you would think that you would just try and just keep the hype train going. Like there's, I don't know what that would be. Like I don't know what they could possibly think of because, like, again, we're not the Supercars media team, but like at least try something. Just try and keep fan engagement because. I don't know how you guys feel, but for me, it's just like, oh, okay, it's another 5 or 6 weeks to the next round. It's just, we'll see you then. Like, I know there's always the post.
Yeah, well, the thing is,
post round. Like, I know there's always like the post round thing for like a week or two, but then after that, it's just like, yeah, it just doesn't feel like there's a lot. And just I think I've even noticed some of the drivers have been talking about it too. So,
well, I don't think it's like some like niche thing. And I don't know, it's frustrating because if you look at the current season, it's actually been pretty close so far. Like there's been, arguably it's one of the closest seasons we've had so far. You know, we're halfway through the season. There's been multiple championship leaders. You know, the guy who's leading it doesn't necessarily go out and just dominate every weekend. Like, you know, Ep.8 have been struggling a bit, but they're starting to climb back up. Like there's all these variables happening and it's exciting, but it just dies off after the round, and then you have to wait a couple weeks for it to come back, and it's a real shame because the racing's awesome at the moment, in my opinion. Like it's not,
and that's what I was saying because like it's
reasonably decent.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting to because like, and you're 100% right. This season so far has been really good. I mean, we've had greatness shown from Brody so far, even though his position in championship doesn't really reflect it at the moment. Grove Racing and Matt Payne, they've stepped up massively. Ep.8 have had their struggles, like we've said. Brock's still in that fight. You can never count him out, and you can never count Ep.8 out of a championship fight. And then Walkinshaw have shown flashes of speed that they can be there on the right day. And then even, it feels odd saying it, but Team 18, like Anton's shown that he can be there when he's got the car underneath him. So yeah, I think come finals, I reckon it's going to be a stacked top 10 after Bathurst.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be.
Well,
and honestly, I'll put this out there now, the bold prediction, but I think because of how choppy and changey this season has been so far, I reckon we're going to be surprised who's in and who's out on the first round of finals.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And
I reckon
the thing that they don't promote enough is the fact that we've only got 2 more rounds to go before we finish up the Sprint Cup.
Oh, we do.
Yeah, we've only got Perth and Ipswich.
Yeah, I'll be at Ipswich.
But they haven't really promoted that.
No, you'd think they would, but no.
And they're hoping that, just like last year, from the Enduro Cup onwards, it sort of picked up like massively, like from the engagement and the excitement. Because the back end of last year was really, really good. And this year has been really, really good. But not many people have spoken about it, you know? So they just need to do, a little bit more.
And with the finals too, I'll quickly just say this. Like, I know that some people still aren't sold on them. I think the concept is good and it makes the end of the year really interesting. And it's like really adds an excitement level. And I'll say that firsthand because when I went to the Gold Coast event last year, because obviously you watch the big screen as well as watching the cars come by. But in that final race on the Sunday, because there was so many battles going on. Oh, he's got to get that position to get in the top 7. And if he passes him, he knocks him out. And then even though like we're not the ones racing, but there's still this excitement and a buzz in the crowd thinking, oh no, is he going to get him or who's going to advance through? Like it just added that anticipation to it. And compared to other years when you go there, because there's not many cars in the championship fight when you come to that time of the year. But because we've got this system now, that's what I like about the final system. I don't agree with everything, but now because there's that unpredictability or who's going to get through, who's going to be not, it makes it tense, and that's what you want as a sport. Like it's just you want the unpredictability.
The energy of the grand final last year in person was the best I've had it. It's the best it's felt in years. You know, you really did. And Sunday, that the moment that Ryan Wood and Brock Feeney tangled, everyone in everyone in the media room made a big gasp. Like we haven't seen something like that happen in a long time, you know, and the energy, it was just unreal. Like everyone you could just feel what was at stake, you know, at the end of this weekend. Like someone will be crowned champion and someone will go home disappointed. And that's exactly what happened. I prefer the old traditional, points system. You know, you work your way throughout the year, but I love the excitement of the finals, and I love what they're doing, and I love, it's doing exactly what they were expecting.
Yeah, because like last year was, I reckon, Bathurst onwards was probably the best like segment of the championship I've seen in a very long time. Like just so many variables, like everyone just sending it, like some of the best drivers making mistakes. Like, I mean, the Gold Coast when Kostecki bloody decided to do some rearranging of the fencing, and even Will Brown crashing in qualifying, and Will Brown's like the defending champion,
Yeah, no, that was wild.
It's just, it's great to see those kind of guys, because, I think previously in championships, quite often the guys at the top are like, oh, okay, look, I've got a couple 100 points lead or whatever. I'm just going to back off a little bit and just, nurse it home a little bit. But you can't really do that now. And that's kind of, I think, what makes it good is that they're having to fight to the end. I don't know.
Exactly.
There's definitely some debates about it, but I think just purely from an engagement point of view, it's been awesome. But I think they came from that, and now the start of this year, and it's like it's a real shame because the racing's been so good and the engagement probably hasn't been where it should be, and I think just these massive gaps. So yeah, I just think they just need to throw a million things at a wall, and even just doing something crazy like why not try to collaborate with content creators and to produce content. Like even I don't know, like God, if they're really desperate, hit up Post Round Dump. I don't know, or even I don't know, like I'm sure LTM could do something, or even if they're really, 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 really desperate, they could hit up Motorsport Mosh Pit. But I don't know, like there's a lot of great content creators out there doing great things, talking about the sport.
Yeah.
You'd be amazed how cheap some of the videos are.
Yeah,
but there's a lot they can do to keep the hype up in the sport, and they don't have to go and spend a ridiculous amount of money getting some influencer in. Like they could go full grassroots because there's some passionate content creators out there doing some awesome stuff from what I've seen, and that could be something else to keep the engagement going online and even externally. Like, I mean, there's just so much more you can do, in my opinion. Like, I mean, I've been ranting about this for the whole bloody season. Like, I even thought the opening round could have been a bit more well promoted, like having the V8s in Sydney, like at the Opera House or something crazy like that. Like we need to be really pushing the sport more because I mean, you look how much F1's growing even now with some pretty controversial, is probably the nicest way to put it, regulations. It's still growing like crazy. I mean, Silverstone had a ridiculous amount of people there. I think it's the most amount of people that's ever been at Silverstone. So.
Well, it actually beat the record that Australia had back in 90-something, 80-something. It was the Adelaide Grand Prix. Had the biggest crowd until Silverstone beat it recently.
That's crazy to think about. Like,
yeah, it's insane.
That was Adelaide.
It's crazy. But the thing is, right, good or bad, people are still talking about it, Formula One. They're still talking about it every day of the week. Whereas supercars, not everyone is talking about it all the time.
Yeah. And it astonishes me because I'd say the racing right now is a much more exciting product in the V8s, but people still watch F1. And it's just, it's the hype, it's the engagement that Formula One has at the moment. They've been very clever about the way they've presented it.
Well, they need to bring back, because supercars did, what was it called, Racing Line or something like that, where they had a doco series.
Yeah,
they need to bring that back, because obviously Drive to Survive made Formula One go from here to here, but Drive to Survive has helped them go from here to here. Supercars I quite enjoyed their, was it Road to Glory, the Adelaide documentary they had? I thought that was quite good. I just wish we had more of it throughout the year, because then they could have just released it, because obviously Drive to Survive, they release everything all at once. But if they split up the 2025 season, for example, Supercars, in between rounds, that would be perfect.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Because, that's probably the only thing I'd critique on that Road to Glory was they just made it one long episode, or movie, documentary, or whatever you want to call it. They could have split it up and started it from the Gold Coast onwards. And
exactly.
Go for all the 10 different drivers and do, an episode per round. I reckon that would have been mega.
Yeah, it would have been insane. Let's start to close out this pod and just quickly go over the MotoGP shenanigans that's happening at the moment.
The rider market. Yeah, that's an interesting one. This last day or two, it's we all knew it, but Fabio Quartararo leaving Yamaha to sign to race with factory Honda next year. That is a big gamble considering we've got new bikes coming, but the reports I have read, and some people seem to think that Honda may be back at the top in these new regulations, so we'll see how that goes. But at the same time, don't want to say it, but knowing Fabio Quartararo's like over the last couple of years, what if he's left Yamaha and they rock up with the best bike with Jorge Martin and whoever else is racing for them? I can't remember, because Martin's obviously left Aprilia, is leaving Aprilia, and is going to factory Yamaha, and Bagnaia leaving factory Ducati, and taking Martin's seat at Aprilia. But the really big one is we all knew it was coming, but Pedro Acosta leaving KTM to go partner Mark Marquez. So I'm really
excited for that.
I'm really
excited to see how that goes for sure.
Because
for the last few years, me too. Ever since he joined MotoGP, he's always been one to look out for. You can just tell he's got potential. So hopefully this opens the door to some really cool things.
Yeah, hopefully. But the thing is, you watch his junior career and you watched how he was, especially Moto 2. You're just like, Moto 3, whatever it was. And you think, man, this kid is going to be excellent when he gets to the top tier. But because with MotoGP, because there's such a big disparity between a lot of the bikes, because he went to factory KTM, which is nothing exactly to shout at. Like, you're being a factory ride when you first joined, but KTM have not been good for a long time. Like, they've been there or thereabouts, but not enough to constantly contend for a championship or constant wins. So, yeah, I'm keen to see what he'll do on the Ducati. But speaking of KTM, Brad Binder without a seat at the moment next year, and could be out of MotoGP altogether. Which
Well,
I
that'd
think
be
is
interesting because, it'll be a bit of a shame to see. But it's in a similar situation. Jack Miller, who you said will be Superbikes and Superbikes next year.
With Yamaha backing.
So that's going to be interesting to see how he performs there.
Staying in the Yamaha family, just Superbikes. So I'm actually keen to see what he'll do in Superbikes, because as much as I love Jack Miller, I'd love to see him stay in MotoGP, but he's had his time. And I hate saying that.
And I reckon he'll be happier and actually more competitive in the Superbikes than he would in MotoGP. You know, so no, I actually am excited for that. I actually thought it was going to happen ages ago. You know, he's been lucky to keep his seat for this long. So
I honestly thought after KTM dropped him, that was it.
Yeah, no, he had a lifeline pretty much. So because I think I also thought that. You know, I think everyone actually thought that. You know, once he's got out of that, he's done for. So the fact that he's been able to have a lifeline with Yamaha, it's not too bad. So curious to see. Yeah, I just hope he does well. Because obviously, you know, in 2028, you know, they're coming to South Australia, so that'll be cool. Hopefully he's competitive. Awesome, and the thing is, actually, that's going to be interesting because Jack Miller has actually done some cameos at the Bend thing as part of Australian Superbike Championship. So he's going to, you know, he's not heading into a new track having to relearn things. He's been there before. He knows how to do it. So he'll have that as an advantage.
Done that. He's going to familiar territories. Yeah. But I don't know how closely you two have been following the season so far, but I'm going to be honest here. A couple of races ago, I had written Mark Marquez off with the injuries that he had, and Ducati not off to the best start. I thought, okay, yeah, he won the title again last year. It was kind of a fairy tale outcome. Proved that he could still do it. I honestly thought going by the first few races, Aprilia and either Bezzecchi or Martin have got this. I was expecting Ducati to win races. Yeah, especially after his complications with his surgery, having to miss a few races again this year in the first couple of rounds where it's crucial to get points. Now to only a B, gosh, he's not that far off the lead in third. I'm like, what on earth? So I'll happily admit I was wrong about that one. You can just never count him out. And if he wins the title again this year, Hamaka's going to hate me for this, but no, that's dead set the GOAT. I'll put him above Rossi. If he wins this year, I think at that point, if he wins this year, considering what he's gone through so far, and we're not even halfway through the season yet, he is sorry, Rossi, move aside.
Yep, no, I genuinely would agree with that. It kind of reminds me of the Black Knight from Monty Python. You know, 'tis a flesh wound. He just continuously gets injuries, and he just keeps fighting, and it's just will you just stop?
You know, he is we go back to Hamilton and Lowndes, how later in their careers they're still competitive, but you know they're still up there at the front, but they're nowhere near. Marquez is a similar case, except he's been super successful. You know, he's gone from 1,000 and a bit days to not winning a single race to winning a sprint and then dominating for the next few years. It's pretty crazy.
You look at his Grand Prix career, from MotoGP, wins the title in his rookie year, then wins it again. Then 2015 was that very controversial year with Rossi where there was the kick and supposedly helping Lorenzo win the title, but then that dominance to that 2019 period, and then obviously the near career-ending crash in 2020. But I honestly think had he not had that crash, he would have won that year and the following year, because when he came back in 21, he still won 3 races. And then he went through the period because he's still having problems with his arm, and then Honda had really dropped the ball in terms of bike development and stuff like that. But then went to the satellite Ducati team and then discovered he can still do it, and then came out and smashed everyone. It's just it's kind of I asked the question of, had he not had those setbacks, how many more would he have won?
Yeah, that's probably one of those big what if questions, right? It's like in the NBA how people go what if Michael Jordan didn't? I nearly said Michael Jackson. Michael Jordan nearly went to didn't go to baseball and just stayed in.
Moonwalk slam dunk
I think that's today's title. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those like what ifs. Like like as they say, Michael Jordan, if he didn't go to baseball for that year, would he have even more titles? And I guess it's a similar kind of question. It's a bloody hard one to answer, but like you could definitely see it happening, and that's the kind of scary thing about it. And that's why, like, yeah, if he does do it this year, it's pretty hard to argue against him being the GOAT. And I'm more of a Rossi fan more than anything. Like it's just crazy to think about the fact he's just so good this later stage of his life with all the injuries he's got. It's just phenomenal.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I wouldn't have, I was gonna say I wouldn't have blamed him for. Sorry, I wouldn't have blamed him for walking away, especially after 2022 with some of the crashes that Honda was causing him to have. Like I remember, I think it was in Thailand. He literally got launched about nearly 20 feet in the air, and he missed the race, obviously, because he was concussed. But I was just like, that would have been enough for me to like, I can't do this anymore. But he just comes back for more. It's ridiculous.
He's pretty unstoppable.
Maybe he's just made him invincible. Like he's,
I
don't know. Like Wolverine kind of thing, like Arnold Tomatum, whatever it's called.
Had that much surgery, he's turned into a cyborg.
Yeah, he's not actually Mark Marquez anymore. He's Mark Marquez version 79-6. Right? They're just rebuilding him each weekend.
Oh, man.
It's just a factory full of Marquezes.
Let's get a new one from the draw.
Yeah, be like that scene in Star Wars where the assembly line of all the droids, like
yeah, you know the scene where there's a battle droid that's like a dud and it's just 3PO.
3PO's
his head on the body. That's Alex Marquez. Oh, God.
Let's say you could use that logic for Lance Stroll too. It was just thrown together with all the like throwaway bits and just be like, yeah, it's good enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep this one away from the strawberry jam.
Yeah.
And the windows, yeah. Anyway, Dan, take us home before we...
Yeah, take us home, country road. All right, let's go.
Before we get sued.
Well, thanks everyone for tuning in to another episode of the Motorsport Mosh Pit with internet connection galore. I hope you guys enjoy this. Feel free to like, subscribe, and follow our social media. And hopefully by the time we're out next episode, Feven has reconnected to the podcast. But Macca, thank you. Feven, thank you. And we'll see you guys next time for another episode.
Yeah. Good chat, fellas.